Know Better, Do Better, Live Better is brought to you by everyone here at the Kempire Radio Network are strong advocates of wearing a mask. I know people have politicized this, but the scientists believe in the power of preventing the spread of COVID-19 by wearing a mask and social distancing. We're excited to share with you that at the Kempire Radio Network Teespring merchandise store, you can purchase a Kempire Radio Network mask right now, along with a lot of other really great cool gear, including t-shirts, sweatshirts, cell phone covers, mugs, and so much more. For more information on how you can support the Kempire Radio Network and help stop the spread of COVID-19, head on over to kempireradio.com or our description box for more details. Do you enjoy the content that we have here on the Kempire Radio Network, including Know Better, Do Better, Live Better, our wellness podcast, highlighting topics of spirituality, exercise, meditation, and so many other areas of wellness? But the Kempire Radio is even more than that, highlighting hot topics, entertainment, and all the things that you love, including up-and-coming artists where we play their music here. Well, we need your support, and one of the ways that you can do that is becoming a member of our Patreon. For just $1.99 a month, you can support the Kempire Radio Network and all the efforts that we're making to make this world a brighter place, but also entertaining at the same time. And don't forget, you can upgrade to other tiers where you get ad-free episodes and even some merchandise. For more details on how you can become a patron of the Kempire Radio Network, head on over to kempireradio.com or our description box. You're listening to Know Better, Do Better, Live Better here on the Kempire Radio Network. Welcome back to Know Better, Do Better, Live Better here on the Kempire Radio Network, where we talk about wellness every Wednesday. I am so excited. I'm your boy, of course, the Kempire. And don't forget, we also have your entertainment, hot topics, everything like that every Friday on my show, The Kempire. Well, this week, this is actually an episode I've been thinking about doing for a while now. And when I say a while, I've been thinking towards the end of 2020, I was reflecting a lot on the deaths of everyone that suffered with COVID-19, including people that I know, and I'm sure people that you know. And a lot of the times, especially when it's a pandemic or it's a large massacre happening, people forget the actual names of the folks that have passed away, and they don't get the necessary attention or remembrance, especially now. You know, there are a lot of people that buried family members and they weren't able to have the usual funeral where, you know, family usually gathers together to celebrate someone's life. So I wanted to use this episode to highlight just some people, you know, no one related to me, no one necessarily, you know, of preference that I know of. Just a really wonderful article that ABC News did where they highlighted quite a few of the people that passed away last year of COVID-19. As you probably already know, over 350-something thousand people here in the United States alone have passed away, over 1 million, probably close to 2 million around the world. And this is in no way to be a downer episode. If anything, when we lose someone, I've always said, and I know I've probably said it here on the podcast, to me it's a reflection and a reminder to live our lives more fully. Because I strongly believe that those are just reminders like, okay, there's something that we need to be doing. There's something that I've always wanted to do. And I think 2020, the pandemic, this presidency has taught us our real purposes in life. And I hope that a lot of people had aha moments in 2020 on what they want to do and what they want to be for 2021 and beyond. So this episode is really to highlight the lives of these people and inspire you to live more fully than you have ever before. So as I said, I'm randomly picking people from this ABC's News article, and I will link everyone in our description so you can actually go look at the faces and the names and the stories behind all the people that they highlighted for 2020. The first person I want to talk about is Mohammed Jawed. Mohammed Jawed was 59 years old, a beloved small-town Kentucky doctor. He died on October 31st, according to the Wall Street Journal. Jawed was born in Pakistan. He completed his residency here in New York and moved to Corbin, Kentucky in 1997. Jawed was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, a cancer of the blood, about 2 years ago and returned to work within 6 months. Though he used telemedicine at the beginning of the pandemic, Jawed also wanted to see patients in person. He wanted to continue helping his patients. Ghazal Jawed, the oldest of his 3 daughters, told the Journal he didn't want to drop the ball on anyone. Paul and Rosemary Blackwell. Paul Blackwell and his wife, Rosemary Blackwell, both died of COVID-19 within hours of each other on December 13th, their son told Dallas station KDFW. The husband and wife were both teachers in Grand Prairie, Texas. Rosemary Blackwell served as a second-grade bilingual teacher while also being a team leader and mentor. She was the longest tenured teacher at Travis World Language Academy, having taught at the campus for the past 20 years. Paul Blackwell served as a PE teacher, mentor, and coach at Fannie Middle School, where he had served for the past 5 years. Previously, he had taught at the Young Men's Leadership Academy at Kennedy Middle School. Robert Rocca. This one I think is important to highlight because I always have such a reverence for firefighters who go into danger knowing that they might, lose their lives. So Robert Bobby Rocca, a fire captain at Kansas City, Missouri, died on November 21st. The 6-year-old served 29 years with the fire department. He was a vibrant and beloved part of the KCFD family, Fire Chief Donna Lake said in a statement. His passing represents a personal loss to all of us who knew him. I cherish both his friendship and professionalism. Captain Rocca honorably served Kansas City for years, touching an immeasurable number of lives with his heroism along the way. And speaking of heroes, a lot of people have been celebrating our healthcare workers, from the nurses and doctors, orderlies, everyone that's been at the front lines of this pandemic. And also at the front lines, a lot of these doctors not only have died, but also are still struggling with the PTSD of the things that they've seen during this pandemic. Gary Woodward was one of those nurses. Gary Woodward, who spent 25 years as a critical care nurse at Nashville Hospital, died on November 27th. He was something fierce and a true embodiment of our mission at the Ascension St. Thomas. Fahad Tahir, president and CEO of the Ascension St. Thomas Hospital West, said in a statement, as witnessed in his dedication to his calling since the beginning of this pandemic, Gary's love for his patients was remarkable and inspiring. Woodward, 64, survived by his wife of 45 years, as well as 3 daughters and 6 grandchildren. As you may have seen from all the reports, a lot of communities, specifically Black communities, have suffered tremendously during the pandemic. Irv McPhail died on October 15, 3 months after becoming the 12th president of St. Augustine University, a historically Black college in Raleigh, North Carolina. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper tweeted that he was a dedicated leader who made a positive impact on St. Augustine University in the short time he was president. He was self-confident, and he instilled that into everybody around him, including the students. He was student-centered, the Board of Trustees chairman James Perry told ABC Raleigh station. Perry described himself as a transformative leader with qualities that you can immediately sense that are so palpable when you get in his presence. And one of the mistaken myths about this pandemic and COVID-19 is that young people were immune to it. However, Jamisha Wadwell, 23, died on November 19th, her college president said. She was a senior at Livingston College, a private, historically Black Christian college in North Carolina. The North Carolina native was set to graduate in December and dreamed of becoming a detective. Her cousin described Wadwell as a family jewel. Another friend said, I don't need anyone to tell me this virus is not real. Guadalupe Lopez. Guadalupe, also known as Lupe Lopez, was a 911 dispatcher at Chicago's Office of Emergency Management and Communications. The 58-year-old Chicago native died on November 16th. Lupe was not only a beloved employee of the OEMC family for over 33 years, but also a wonderful friend to many, including many at the Chicago Police. He will be deeply missed. Chicago Police tweeted this. Officers in Chicago rely on their dispatchers while serving and protecting the city. For Chicago police officers working in Chicago, Lupe Lopez was a voice of security and reassurance. Our heartfelt condolences are with Lupe's family and friends. Teachers have always been such an important position for me. I've respected teachers since I was a kid, and they have always been a source of solace. So I've always looked at teachers as much as I look at firefighters and healthcare workers as heroes, I look at teachers as heroes. Margie Kidd. She was an elementary school teacher in South Carolina who served the people of Jasper County as a professional educator for 26 years. Kidd, 71, taught first grade and kindergarten. She always went above and beyond for her students and their families, and if she could help out, she would. We lost a most beloved member of our school district family. Beth Nesbitt. Bethany Nesbitt, a 20-year-old student at Grace College in Indiana, died on October 29th in her dorm room, where she had been isolating after her COVID-19 diagnosis, said her brother Stephen Nesbitt, a journalist with The Atlantic. The youngest of 9 siblings, Nesbitt was expected to graduate next spring. She hoped to pursue a career as a child life specialist, helping children and families navigate the process of illness, injury, disability, trauma, or hospitalization. Bethany loved Jesus, her family said in a statement. She was a selfless and loving friend, a source of constant encouragement to all those around her. She had a passion for helping others, especially children, and her sassy sense of humor and wonderful laugh put them at ease. Tyler Ambergy. Tyler Ambergy, a 29-year-old youth hockey coach from Texas, died on August 29th. Ambergy started playing hockey when he was 7. The defenseman went on to play for several minor league teams before retiring in 2016. Ambergy leaves behind a wife and young daughter. He enjoyed life most when he was with family, relaxing on the porch with his beloved wife Amy or teaching his daughter Riley how to do her best at whatever her passion was, while at the same time to accept and handle adversity. We're excited about the things that we're working on the Kempire Daily YouTube channel. With your help, we have grown to tremendous levels in the last year. With our commitment to creating a variety of content from hot topics to even things like our wellness podcast, we are sharing all kinds of new ideas and fresh content. Join the Kempire Daily YouTube channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our uploads. And while you're on the YouTube channel, be sure to follow our Kempire Radio channel, where we've been uploading all kinds of great content for the last 10 years. Check out our interview with Oprah, Brandy, Melanie, Fiona, Brian McKnight, Danny DeCane, and so many others. Head on over, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of those uploads. As I said before, my intention for doing this episode is something I've been thinking about for the last couple of months, is to bring a story to the numbers that you've been seeing on, different news networks and things like that. And I know some of those stories are very personal to you because COVID-19 has touched almost everyone's life in some shape or form, be it someone you personally know, be it someone you worked with, be it someone you just saw in passing, and you may not see them anymore. And as I've been saying over and over again, I strongly believe that death isn't what we defined it to be, and it doesn't need to be what we've defined it to be over the years. It can mean something new. It can be a reminder to all of us to live the life that we have right now more fully. So that's part of the reason why I'm sharing these people's stories, because they deserve to be told, they deserve to be remembered, even by someone like myself that didn't even know them. Hearing these stories from people young and old, from different walks of life, different faces, different religions, are inspiring to know that they've touched lives while they were here, and they can continue to touch lives here on Know Better, Do Better, Live Better. Michael Lang. Michael Lang, an 18-year-old from LaGrange, Illinois, was a freshman at the University of Dayton. The excited new college student arrived on campus in early August, and by the Labor Day, he had COVID-19 symptoms. Lang left campus on September 13th and returned home to study remotely from his parents. He died on October 22nd, the University of Dayton said. The teenager enjoyed golf, fishing, and all sports, and was a good friend to all. Lang is survived by his parents and brother. Gerard Lindsay. Tulsa police officer Gerard Lindsay died on October 28th. The 40-year-old leaves behind his wife and 2 sons, the department said. Lindsay joined the Tulsa Police Department in 2005. At the time of his death, Lindsay was the Tulsa Fraternal Order of Police Chairman and Oklahoma Fraternal Order of Police Vice President, the department said. Tulsa Mayor G.T. Bynum said Gerard loved the men and women of the Tulsa Police Department deeply. It drove his work as chairman of the Fraternal Order of Police. And for him, that work was not just a job, but a calling. We had been making plans for the work we would do together over the next 4 years to make Tulsa the best city it can be for those courageous men and women who risked their lives to keep Tulsans safe. Chong Lee Yang. Chong Lee Yang was the chief executive officer of Minnesota's Prairie Seeds Academy. The 53-year-old founded the Hmong Charter School with her husband in 2004. Yang came to the U.S. as a Hmong refugee when she was 12. Later forging a lifelong career as an educator. Prairie Seeds Academy said in the statement, Chow understood and valued the importance of education and devoted her entire career to the profession, starting in 1996 with her first teaching job. Chow served as the principal of PSA since 2008 and became its chief executive officer in 2020. Under her leadership, PSA increased its enrollment and student success, providing thousands of students with outstanding education. There was nothing more important to her than the students of PSA. She celebrated their successes, cared deeply when they were troubled and needed help, and was devoted to making things better for every student, family, and staff member. She was an exceptional leader who served with humility and contributed immensely to the growth of many teachers, principals, and administrators. Those that have been fortunate enough to work with Chow will remember her constant encouragement and, above all, her kindness. Her entire life was dedicated to serving others. She lifted us with her humor, high spirits, and was a constant light during troubled times. Lonnie Norman. Lonnie Norman, mayor of Manchester, Tennessee, died on October 12th. Norman became the city's first black mayor in 1991. His friends and neighbors returned him to the mayor's office 4 times as an act of trust for which he was immensely grateful, Norman's family said in a statement that was released by the city. In his numerous campaigns for public office, he never lost a political race. He loved his hometown and they loved him. A new recreation complex, soccer field, improvements to countless parks, other infrastructure, and support for our beloved Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival were among his proudest accomplishments. He also fought hard against rural hospital closures, so all Coffee County citizens could access quality, affordable health care. The city's board of mayor and aldermen called him a dedicated servant, and above all else, he was kind, honest, and thoughtful. He guided our community with a strong and steady yet gentle hand with empathy and compassion. Olga Quiroga. Olga Quiroga taught first grade at Funston Elementary in Chicago. She died one day after her 58th birthday, one of her daughters, Gladys Quiroga Watts, told WLS. Quiroga first cleaned houses when she and her husband moved from Mexico to Chicago, according to WLS. As a teacher, Quiroga wanted to help low-income students. She spent 30 years teaching at Chicago Public Schools. Chicago Teachers Union President Jesse Sharkey said in a statement, Olga had both tremendous love and high expectations for her students, who knew she cared deeply for them and was committed to their success. As a Mexican immigrant herself, Olga understood the plight of her immigrant students' families, and in her work, she supported not just children, but their parents and siblings in their efforts to navigate the school district. Her warmth, giving nature, and commitment to support whole families was an inspiration to her fellow educators and every student she encountered. Adeline Fagan. Dr. Adeline Fagan was a 28-year-old beginning her second year of OBGYN residency in Houston. We are heartbroken, read a statement from the HCA Healthcare West, where Fagan worked. Dr. Fagan touched so many lives and will always be remembered for her happiness and beautiful smile, as well as her dedication to moms and babies. According to Syracuse.com, Fagan's father wrote on a memorial page, "If you can do one thing, be an Adeline in the world. Be passionate about helping others less fortunate. Have a smile on your face, a laugh in your heart, and a Disney tune on your lips." Jim Smith. Jim Smith, 79, was an addiction counselor and a longtime LGBTQ advocate in Staten Island, New York. He was born and raised on Staten Island, spent decades pushing for equality in his community. He could have very easily moved to Manhattan where he would have been welcomed, and he could have lived his life in peace as an openly gay man in the 60s and 70s. He chose to stay on Staten Island and educate and persevere. Smith died on June 29th, New York One reported, coinciding with the anniversary of New York City's Stonewall riots, a turning point in the fight for LGBTQ rights. So I end this episode with Jim Smith's remembrance, because growing up on Staten Island myself, understanding even in this day and age what a big deal it is to be black and to be gay and to be out and proud on Staten Island, what that means today, as opposed to Jim Smith, LGBT advocate, but also being a part of the community. And here in the 60s and 70s, when it really wasn't okay to be openly gay, and he decided to stay here and to teach people. Thank you, Jim, for opening the gateway so others like myself can be open and free. And as I said to you before, this episode wasn't meant to be a solemn one, but a reminder to live your life more fully, and also to give a face and a name and a story to the numbers that you continuously see on the news. For more information on everyone that was in this amazing ABC News article will be available in our description box. As always, our strong belief here, when you know better, you do better, and you ultimately will live better. I'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in to Know Better, Do Better, Live Better here on the Kempire Radio Network. The Kempire Radio Network is available on Google and Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and coming very soon to the Amazon Music app. For more information on the Kempire Radio Patreon and merchandise, head on over to kempireradio.com or our description box.